Welcome to All Folks Racing PlayStation. Welcome to the new season. 2023 is here. Single car championships continue in All Folks Racing PlayStation. We are now starting the World Prototype Sprint Championship, and the chosen car is the Audi LMP900. What a beautiful beast it is, and the old folks are taking it around the Daytona road course as a season opener for this championship. As usual with any single car championship in All Folks Racing PlayStation, it's 5 rounds, 10 races, and the first 2 races are here at the Daytona road course, the tri-oval with the infield section. Still quite a lot of high speeds and quite a lot of drafting, as we have something going on here. Yes, we have a rolling start, as you would expect in Daytona, and we've got the starting grids, and it is as follows. First row, it's Andrew Dalby, car 38, and Simon Allen, car number 4. Second row, it's George Jesus, car number 3, and reigning Piston Cup champion Darren Head, car number 1. Third row, it's Kev Allen, car number 2, and another car number 3, this one in different livery, that's Dale Taylor. 7th place for the reigning champion Diogo Silva of All Folks Racing PlayStation. He won the last championship, that's in car number 1, followed by Peter Adrian. The 5th row, it's Scott Davely and Sid Waters. The 6th row, Gonçalo Mota and John Scott, and David Emge is alone in the last row. We are going to have a rolling start here, as it's the only available option at the Daytona circuit, and away they go. The season has started. The season has started here at Daytona, and they're all going to be fighting for position in turn 1. Let's have a look at how they get on, as everyone seems to be getting through the first corner cleanly. That's good to see here at Daytona. That's not always the case. And Andrew Dalby, no, it's actually Simon Allen goes into the lead of this race. Simon Allen goes into the lead of this race. We can see, well, something happened here at the back. Something happened here at the back. We see drivers like Dale Taylor. Dale Taylor has collided there with someone. So Dale Taylor was in 5th place, was trying to go around Jorge Jesus, and that was, and then he just lost control, and that possibly took Jorge with him. Or is it someone else? It is Jorge Jesus. Nothing that Roger could do in this instance. Let's have a quick look again at the replay. I think Dale was coming with a lot of speed, but then just loses control, spins, and they're both, and someone else is joining them in sympathy. That was I believe no, it was not David Emge, it was Peter Adrian as well. Peter Adrian lost a bit of time at the start. Let's go and have a look at what's happening elsewhere in the field, as Gonçalo Mota and Diogo Silva are at it for 5th place. There's someone running wide there. That was Scott Davely. I believe not, that was Sid Waters. The crash, there's a crash there. There's a crash there with someone. That's John Scott, or is it? No, that is Peter Adrian. And we seem to have more carnage there as well. No, that's John Scott. John Scott, well, John just turned a little bit too much there, as we continue to see. And there's another crash going. Big carnage, big crash there. Diogo Silva is in the middle of it. And it all went bonkers there. All went bonkers. It seems to me that dear, what's going on here? As let's have a look. I think Kev Allen may have been involved in it as well. And let's have a look at what on earth happened here. It was Andrew Dalby also spinning. Let's have a look at what happened there. It's Andrew Dalby spins, Darren Head hits him, Kev Allen, and then we lose the shot there, but it's Diogo Silva trying to go in the middle, and all of them end up. Look at this, Andrew Dalby as well had a tough ride there. Dear. Let's have a look from the chase camera at what happened there in this incident, and let's go and maybe with Darren Head to see what on earth happened. As Andrew Dalby, I think, span right in front of him. Yes, Darren is here in 3rd place. Andrew Dalby trying to defend, As they go back into the oval, he clearly braked a little bit too late. Darren is trying to find a way around, and there is Diogo Silva, and there, oh, Diogo Silva, oh, it seems to me that Diogo just connected with someone there. It was, I believe, with Kev Allen, as Diogo Silva was in 5th place. He was trying to go through the middle there, and oh, the gap just closes, and Kev Allen and him collide, and then it's just mayhem from there, as Andrew Dalby also gets delayed. Let's go back to Darren Head, and the top 3 are very close indeed. Look at Gonçalo Mota up into 2nd place. 3rd is Kev Allen. He didn't get much of a delay, and Darren Head is trying to go around both these drivers as they go through the bus stop chicane, and oh, Darren Head is in the ground. Darren Head spins, Darren Head spins, Darren Head spins, Darren Head spins, and oh, it needs a big spin, and someone else is joining him in sympathy as well. Someone else, oh, and look at that, that's oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, is that Dale Taylor? Oh, and all sorts of things happening here, as Dale Taylor also spins in the bus stop. Oh, he gets hit. He got hit. Dale Taylor got hit and then goes and joins Darren, and they're all kissing each other. This is a bit bizarre, but we will find out what happened here. Well, quite a bizarre first lap. This is a new car, and I believe it was Sid Waters or Peter Adrian that hit Dale Taylor in the back. It was Peter Adrian, as Peter also spins in sympathy there, as they all, ooh, that's almost like a synchronized dance between these three drivers. And oh, and they absolutely all combinations. It seems that Dale and Darren had contact, Dale and Peter had contact, and Darren and Peter also had contact. So that's combinations of three at a time. That's there you go. There's some combinatorial analysis for you here, and they all drop down to last. No, they don't, because in last place it's Diogo Silva. Look at this, he is now battling with Darren Head, and they're battling for 12th place. We normally see battles between these two slightly higher up in the field, so it will be quite interesting to see what happens. We look at the battle there at the front, which is quite interesting as well. Dale Taylor in 11th, Peter Adrian in 10th, John Scott in 9th, and David Emge in 8th place. He did have a slow start, but of course he had the advantage of not being affected by any of the carnage that pretty much every driver behind. Oh, look at this, and more contact there, and someone is off there. It's Peter Adrian again, is off. Peter and John Scott also off the track, and look at this, that's Darren Head, no, that's Del Taylor. Darren Head also going through, but ooh, and Del Taylor there trying to overtake David Emge. A lot of carnage here. This is a new car and people are still getting used to it, but perhaps a bit more practice would be required, as David Emge is now well, he's still in 8th place. Let's go back trackside and see this battle, as Del Taylor is now trying to overtake at the bus stop chicane, which is always cause for concern. And oh, and yes, and and more carnage here, more carnage, and it was, I believe, Peter Adrian is in the middle of it. Peter Adrian is in the middle of it, and again 2 incidents in 2 consecutive laps. There is the breaking point, and Peter does seem to not have completely calibrated the breaking point here, as he now basically collides with David Emge. John Scott also got delayed for some reason, and what was it? It was a spin, I believe. Yes, he was using the entirety of the infield there. As you see, these there you see he's just drifting there, entertaining the crowds with that. Well, he's doing donuts, something that we normally would see at the end of the race. There is Diogo Silva in 12th, then Head in 11th. And this is the replay of the incident here, as Peter Adrian tried a very optimistic move there. Darren Head very lucky not to get involved there as well. He's now up into 9th, and Diogo Silva is up into 10th, with Peter Adrian, David Emge and John Scott now sitting at the back of the field. Now let's go ahead of these drivers, and it seems to me that Del Taylor has actually opened the gap, a little bit of a gap there, which is unsurprising given that Darren had to slow down substantially there at the bus stop chicane, as they now cross the line in 9th and 10th. Here is Del Taylor now up into he's up into 7th, and he runs wide there a little bit, up into 8th, sorry. Then is Sid Waters. Sid is running nicely there, and he has Andrew Dalby for company, and Andrew Dalby was ahead. Well, no, he wasn't ahead, he was in 7th place, and now he's still in 7th. I do apologize. These cars are not available in many different liveries, so it's a bit tricky to follow, but we'll do our best to commentate here as Andrew Dalby, remember, he started from pole position, but a spin re-entering the tri-oval on the opening lap has definitely compromised his chances. 6th is Sid Waters, up to 5th is Scott Davely. He did not qualify very well, but did a pretty good job getting out of trouble. Kev Allen has already had some minor contact on the opening lap, but still he's running in a very strong 4th position. 3rd is Gonçalo Mota, and up into 2nd is Jorge Jesus. Jorge has basically been recovering ground after spinning on the opening lap, or to be more precise, after Dale Taylor induced him into a spin on the opening lap. Now the only driver that probably has stayed completely out of trouble is race leader Simon Allen. Simon Allen has been pretty much well, he's had the perfect start in that French livery, and very curious to see Simon Allen in the French livery in this championship. So let's get used to it. Let's get used to that number 4 again at the sharp end of the field. Now let's see what else has been happening. As one thing that has happened is that Andrew Dalby has dropped substantially again, so we are going to just rewind and see what on earth went on there, because yes, and he has stopped on the track. He was trying to follow Sid Waters. We are still on lap 4 out of 13, so plenty of racing to go, and yet people, oh, and Andrew Dalby there is wow, absolutely brilliant. Not a 360, it was more like a 270 degree. Darren Head goes around, and crucially, well, no, that is Darren Head. That's Del Taylor. So Del Taylor goes around, and so does Darren Head. But crucially, Diogo Silva did not go around, and he is now putting pressure on Andrew Dalby. Nice battle there for what is now 9th place. So up into 7th is Del Taylor. Up into 8th is Darren Head, and Kev Allen has had a problem because he was in a very strong 4th place. And now he's no longer in that 4th place because he has stopped on the track, and this is the reason he has basically rotated on his own at the exit in the, well, what I believe is called the International Horseshoe, which is basically that first corner, well, the second real corner in this track. So Kev Allen also having troubles, and you can see the old folks are really having an adjustment period right now to this new car. Of course, much more power. Oh, look at this, Kev Allen is all over the place there, running wide again, and this car does not like, definitely does not like going off track. Lap 4, and oh, and Kev Allen is again doing donuts now. Kev Allen with multiple mistakes on the same lap now loses quite a lot of positions as he drops down into 10th spot in that number 2 car. So not the way Kev Allen wanted to start this championship, as we are going again to go through the field in reverse. David Emge is sitting in 13th, 12th is Peter Adrian, 11th is John Scott, and none of them seem to be running together, which is probably good news for avoiding carnage. Down into 10th is Kev Allen after that spin. 9th is Diogo Silva, and he continues to chase Andrew Dalby. Now the battle for 9 has become the battle for 8th place as they complete another lap. Simon Allen, the race leader, is already on lap 5, and the gap at the front is reducing. It was 7 seconds just a couple of laps ago. It's now 5.1. So Jorge Jesus with a very strong start to the season, and basically, and someone has that was Darren Head going ahead. What was that? It was Del Taylor. Del Taylor has had a problem. It was Del Taylor, that number 3 car, And this is again in turn one, and this has been happening to a lot of different drivers. It's very difficult to calibrate the braking point. Dale is just braking too late, and now he wants to turn. The car does not turn and basically just spins. It's a bit of a half spin, but Dale Taylor losing quite a lot of time there, as Darren Head is now up into 6th place. Up into 7th is Andrew Dalby, and up into 8th is Diogo Silva, that continues to be behind Andrew. And Kev Allen is also recovering strongly, and incredibly he's already at the back of Diogo Silva again, despite doing a few donuts on the previous lap at the entry of the Tri-Oval. Let's go and see what's happening in the top 5, where it really matters. Sid Waters has been having a great race, has for the most part avoided carnage, and the reward is that he's in the top 5. Scott Davely continues to be in 4th. Gonçalo Mota, very strong podium position. Jorge Jesus continues to recover, although he has now lost time, and I think this may be just looking at the gap at different points of the lap is actually what's inducing these differences, as the gap at the line, at least when George crosses the line, is again 7 seconds. So clearly a bit of fluctuation of the gap at the front. Simon Allen continues to lead, and he is almost at the midpoint of this race. Let's look for battles, and the first battle is here, as Darren Head continues to be followed by Andrew Dalby, continues to be followed by Diogo Silva and Kev Allen. So these three in particular are very close to one another, although not close enough to make a move into turn 1, as Andrew Dalby again almost outbrakes himself, but saves it nicely there. That number 38 car running in 7th place, Diogo Silva in 8th, and Kev Allen is already rejoined this group as well. Let's see if there are other battles. We saw an emerging battle between Peter Adrian and John Scott that now has been basically resolved, because Peter is ahead, and Andrew Dalby is again in the grass and is again off the track. And after qualifying in pole position, that's in 6 laps, he basically has dropped to 9th place, and seems to be really struggling. Dale Taylor and Peter Adrian, for that matter, are already very close to pole position man Andrew Dalby. This puts Diogo Silva up into 7th spot, and he now has Kev Allen for company, and Darren Head is not that far ahead. Ooh, and Diogo Silva makes a mistake there. Definitely makes a mistake in the last corner. Now Sid Waters has lost a little bit of time as well, as he crosses the line. Let's see what's the gap to Darren. It seems to be around 2 seconds. So let's see if we can capture Darren in the same shot. We can't. Oh, there he is at the back. Darren Head in 6th place. 7th is Diogo Silva. Now let's have a look at what's happening at the front. The top 4 are running on their own, and look at this. That's Diogo Silva trying to defend from Kev Allen as they go and are on the 7th lap. Let's go through the field now in the real order, as Simon Allen has been leading this race since the beginning, and what a dominant performance it has been so far. And what a way to start the season. Simon Allen making a statement that he is for real and he will fight for this championship. Jorge Jesus again very competitive in the GTE championship, and now already in 2nd place in this championship as well. Gonçalo Mota is going to be on the podium if he can hold on for another 5 laps. Scott Davely going for consistency, but he's doing good time. Well, it's 137 flat. Now the one that has been a bit slower is Sid Waters. He's done a 139.3, which is just under 4 seconds. Well, it is 3.5 seconds slower than Darren Head and Diogo Silva and Kev Allen, 2 very fast drivers that are in 6th, 7th and 8th respectively. And here they are, and the drafting effect has the effect of joining up cars in groups, and that's what we are seeing here, as these three drivers are running in the group, and that's probably the right thing to do at this stage as they try to recover. And look at this, everyone pretty much outbraking themselves. There it was Sid Waters, it was also Darren Head outbraking, almost following him in sympathy, as Darren tries to at least get into the top 5, as Kev Allen is really trying to overtake Diogo Silva there. Let's go on board with Kev and see if he has a chance to maybe attack Diogo in the next corner. Diogo is already going defensive there on the inside, as these three are very close to one another, and they're all catching to Sid Waters. We'll keep an eye for other battles. Del Taylor is under pressure from oh, and Kev Allen is again doing donuts. Kev Allen is again doing donuts. Kev Allen decided it was a good time to again please the crowds, and he's done a few donuts and lost a bit of time. Where is Andrew Dalby? He's in 9th place, and he's much closer, of course, to basically Kev. Now let's have a look at this battle between Peter Adrian. Oh, Peter Adrian has actually overtaken Dale Taylor. Something has happened to Dale, and that's not the start of the season that Dale wanted. I suspect some donuts are involved. Yes, this is the entrance to the tri-oval, and he just parks the car there beautifully and waits for Peter to go up into the top 10. And last two places are John Scott and David Emge. They are not that far apart, only 1.5 seconds, so we still could have a battle not to finish last. Now race leader Simon Allen, he is absolutely loving it at the front, and he's got a PlayStation livery. I hadn't noticed that. It's French, but French PlayStation, so that's interesting as a livery. Where is George Jesus? He's only 5 seconds away from Simon, so let's keep an eye on this gap to see if this was any, if it's just the time of the lap that we are seeing it, or if George is actually making a counter-offensive now at the end of the race. Third is Gonçalo Mota running on his own. Fourth, Scott Davely running on his own. Fifth is Darren Head, and something has happened to Sid Waters. Something has happened. He's lost 2 places, and I have a strong suspicion that this happened in turn 1, and that suspicion is confirmed, as that number 3 is again braking very late, and now the car does not turn and goes over the tarmac, or at least the track, and here come Darren Head and now Diogo Silva as well, going up into 6th spot. 6th spot for Diogo Silva. 5th is Darren Head. Now it's 5 seconds to Scott Davely for Darren. He's a quick driver, but he's actually not being that much quicker. In fact, he was slower than Scott on the previous lap. This lap is not going to be particularly good, as he had to manage overtaking Sid Waters there, and Sid has not lost any ground to Diogo Silva. In fact, he could be a factor there. Let's look out for other position changes. I don't think we can see any at this point. Gap at the line is going to be around 6 seconds, so Simon Allen should be safe. Simon Allen crosses the line on 1:34.993. That's a very fast time. Let's see what Roger is up to. Is a 1:35.164, marginally slower, but still only 5 seconds away from the lead, although we are now 3 laps to go. So drivers already starting to think about stabilizing their positions. Maybe Simon Allen can make a mistake, but certainly Roger needs to start thinking that 2nd place is probably a good start to the season, and we still have another race coming at Daytona right after this one. Scott Davely in 4th place. 5th is Darren Head, that number 1 car, the classic Audi livery. There's another number 1, and look at this, Diogo Silva has actually not gained any ground whatsoever to Sid Waters. Sid running very competitively there. Sid running very competitively as look at this, and threatening that top 6 that Diogo Silva managed to achieve after those troubles. in the opening lap. In fact, there's a nice little group here behind Diogo with Sid Waters, also a recovering Kev Allen, and pole position man Andrew Dalby is coming back and challenging for a better position at the late stage of this race. Let's see how this is going to evolve, because we might still see a few position changes here. Let's go and see the lap times at the front. Simon Allen a 1:35.157, and Jorge Jesus a 1:35.271. Again, Simon is holding on to that lead and being marginally faster than George at the end of this race. There's only a lap 11, 12 and 13 to go. Now these are the drivers that Andrew. Oh, something has happened to Kev Allen. Was he closer before? I did not necessarily notice that. Well, no, it was just a couple of seconds, I think. Yes. So Kev Allen is trying to challenge Sid Waters in these late stages of the race, and something has happened there. Something has happened there, and it's Sid Waters. Sid Waters has crashed heavily into the wall, lost his front. Of course, it's only visual damage, but still, it's again the same problem. It's just a little bit too much late braking, and then the car does turn a little bit too much, and boom! There you go. As Kev Allen is now right on his tail, and all of a sudden the battle for 7th place is not theoretical, it's just really practical, as Sid Waters is now holding on to very big pressure from Kev Allen and Andrew Dalby, both of them trying to get into 7th place. We'll keep an eye on other battles, but this seems to be the closest one. Now Sid Waters runs wide there, and here comes Kev Allen on the inside there, but he's going to be on the outside for the crucial turn, which is this one to enter the tri-oval. Let's see if... Oh, and Andrew Dalby is rotating. Andrew Dalby is rotating again. He is rotating, and he's going to lose a position. Peter Adrian is surely going to go up into... no, he's not, but he's going to be very close to... What is Andrew Dalby doing? He should be in the banking. You normally go much faster in the banked part of the track. He's still holding on to that 9th place. But now, another thing that has happened is that gap that we saw, that was like 5 seconds or so, 6 seconds, between Scott Davely and Darren Head, is now reduced to 2 or 3 seconds. The question is, with 2 laps to go, can Scott Davely hold on to that 4th place? And by the way, Simon Allen again a 1/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second faster than Jorge Jesus. So it's very close to being a Simon Allen victory. He just has to hold on for the last couple of laps, as Darren Head is still trying to get into 4th place. Diogo Silva in 6th. Now Kev Allen is in 7th, and he's not that far behind Diogo, but he has overtaken Sid Waters. Yes, so Kev Allen up into 7th place, down into 8th is Sid, 9th is Peter Adrian, and something happened to Andrew Dalby. Something else happened to Andrew Dalby. His race is a bit of a disaster, to be honest. From pole position, he is now down in 11th, and this was again a carbon copy of pretty much every crash we've seen in turn 1. He's out of the track, he's drifting there, but eventually spins, loses the position to Peter, loses the position to Dale as well, and he's now in the 11th spot. Now he has a bit of a cushion over John Scott and only 2 laps to go, but surely that's not the way he envisaged his race to go after qualifying on pole position. Now let's look for battle. Let's go through the field, as Simon Allen is about to start his last lap, and we'll have a look at the time when they cross the line. George Jesus is this could be significant. George Jesus spins in the bus stop, and well, there's the race. Well, that's over basically. His ambition to win this race, surely his aspiration is over, as he is now only 3 seconds ahead of Gonçalo Mota. I think it's a little bit too much for Gonçalo, but we never know, and only 1 lap to go. And Scott Davely, the consistent American, has dropped back quite substantially, and this is very unusual. He lost 4th position and he lost 5th as well. What happened to Scott Davely? And this is what happened. He just rotates there. But how come did he lose so much time? And it was a little bit of a, well, it was a big excursion there, as he lost the position to Darren. He lost the position to Diogo as well. Diogo Silva up into 5th, and now he is under pressure from a combination of Kev Allen and Sid Waters. They are still 7th and 8th. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, not the way Scott Davely wanted his race to end, as we are still seeing far too many mistakes. People are still getting used to this car. It is a much more powerful car than any previously used in single car championships, and also it's very different from the LMP2 that some drivers are very used to in this field, especially Jorge Jesus, Diogo Silva and Gonçalo Mota from the Endurance League. As now it's the last lap and Kev Allen wants that 6th place, and it seems to me he's going to get it. And now look at this is into turn 1 now. As they go side by side, on the inside is Kev Allen. This is the start of the last lap, and this is a very good move indeed if he can indeed complete it, and he does so, as Kev Allen is up into 6th place, as dropping back to 7th is Scott Davely. 8th is going to be Sid Waters, and Peter Adrian is under pressure on the last lap from Dale Taylor. Let's see what will happen here, but now let's follow the dominant performance of the day. It's Simon Allen, qualified on the front row, and now is going to go back to victory lane in America as he prepares to take the checkered flag, the first race out of 10 of the World Prototype Sprint Championship with the Audi LMP900, and the winner is Simon Allen. Is going to win. He comes to take the checkered flag, and he is happy. As you can see it, he's weaving in happiness, and he crosses the line. 2nd place is going to be Jorge Jesus. That is, well, he was a strong challenger for the win, but a mistake late in the race means he finishes in 2nd. 3rd place, Gonçalo Mota, and that is a supreme performance from Gonçalo in the podium. 4th is going to be Darren Head after that spin on the opening lap. 5th is going to be Diogo Silva after that carnage on the opening lap. 6th is going to be Kev Allen. 7th is going to be Scott Davely. 8th is going to be Sid Waters, and Dale Taylor has overtaken Peter Adrian. Let's see how that took place, as also the gap between these two drivers tell me that probably there was some action in this overtake, as oh, and yes, oh, what happened there? As it was, well, multiple things going on in the on the last lap, but was there contact here between Peter Adrian and Dale Taylor? Oh no, yes, there was contact, but it was Peter spinning, and Andrew Dalby actually up into the top 10. But this is going to be very brief, because Andrew Dalby immediately is going to spin there, as and then gets hit by Peter, but nowhere to go, as he was in the middle of the track. So a slightly bizarre last lap here, with Dale Taylor ending up in the 9th spot after multiple incidents during the race, as he goes through the bus stop chicane, and he's going to complete the race. 10th is going to be Peter Adrian, who lost 2 positions only to immediately recover 1. Now let's see if they all go to the bus stop with no further drama, as yes, seems to me that Peter Adrian is going to be 10th. 11th from pole position is Andrew Dalby, and I will have to check the record books to see if there was any other driver who managed to finish 11th or lower after qualifying on pole position. 12th is John Scott again. John Scott in the last season, well, in the 2 seasons ago, he started the year with a win, and now it's a 12th place. So you can see that different cars definitely are preferred by different drivers, but that's exactly what Old Fox Racing PlayStation is about. Very diverse single car championships as David Emge completes the race in 13, and this completes coverage of the opening race of the World Prototype Sprint Championship at Daytona. We should have race 2 very, very shortly indeed. Until then, it's goodbye.